All right, this is chapter 4, lesson 1, representing relationships. Okay. So, tables, graphs, and equations. Recall that an equation is a mathematical sentence stating that two quantities are equal. A blank blank is an equation with a graph that is a straight line. Some equations contain more than one variable. So on those two blanks, you're going to write linear equation. Okay. So I have a couple of examples. Example number 1 says the table shows the number of liters in quarts of liquid. Write an equation to find the number of liters in any number of quarts. Describe the relationship in words. So the rate of change is the rate that describes how one quantity changes in relation to another. So if I look at my table over here, it says 1 quart is 0.95 liters. 2 quarts is 1.9. This is a change of 0.95. Every time it goes up by 0.95. Okay? So that's my rate of change. So I can let L represent the liters and Q represent the quarts. So the equation is my liters equal 0.95 times the number of quarts that I have. All right, for number 2, says about how many liters are in 8 quarts. So I'm going to take the equation that I just found, L equals 0.95 Q. I'm going to multiply, I'm going to plug in Q, which is 8 quarts. So 0.95 times 8 gives me 7.6. So there are about 7.6 liters in 8 quarts. Okay. Example number 3 says the total distance Marion ran in 1 week is shown in the graph. Write an equation to find the number of miles ran, y, after any number of days, x. Okay, so step 1, I need to find the rate of change of the slope of the line. So I'm going to pick any 2 points on the line. Completely up to you which points you pick. I'm going to pick 2,7 and 14,4. 4,14. They don't have to be those 2 points. You can pick any 2 points that you would like. Okay, so I'm going to find my rate of change. So I need to find my slope first. Okay, so my slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I take the y value of the 2 points I chose, 14 and 7. I subtract them. And the x values and subtract them. So I get 14 minus 7 is 7. 4 minus 2 is 2. So my rate of change is 7/2 or 3.5. Okay. Once I'm done with that, I need to find my y-intercept. So to find the y-intercept, I use the slope and the coordinates of a point to write the equation and the line in slope-intercept form. So I have y equals mx plus b. So y equals 3.5. We found the slope previously. X plus b. And I'm going to plug in one of my points. I'm going to plug in 7 or 2,7. Okay. When I do that, I get 3.5 times 2, which is 7. Then I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides, so 7 minus 7 is 0, so b equals 0. Okay? So the slope is 3.5 and the y-intercept is 0. So the equation of the line is y equals 3.5x plus 0, or just y equals 3.5x. Okay. Problem number 4 says, how many miles will Marion run after 2 weeks? Okay, so remember I was finding this in days, so you have to be very careful with that. So 2 weeks is 14 days. This is why it's important to know what your x and your y actually stand for. So I have y equals 3.5x. So y equals 3.5 times 14. There are 14 days in 2 weeks. So 3.5 times 14 equals 49. So Marion will run 49 miles in 2 weeks. Okay. There are a couple of try-it problems on this page. Go ahead, pause the video, try them out. And when you are done, we will go over the answers together. All right, so now that you've had a chance to go over the answers or go over the problems, let's go over the answers together. So letter A says the total cost of tickets to the school play is shown in the table. Letter A says write an equation to find the total cost of any number of tickets. Describe the relationship in words. Okay. So if I look at the tickets over here, it says 1 ticket costs $4.50. 2 tickets cost $9. So I'm going up by $4.50 each time. So that's my constant rate of change. So for A, C is the cost of my tickets, equals 4.5 times T. So the total cost equals 4.5, because that's my constant rate of change, or my slope, times the number of tickets I sell. Okay, letter B. So this is basically saying each ticket costs $4.50. Okay. For letter B says use the equation to find the cost of 15 tickets. Okay, so I have C equals 4.5 times 15. When I multiply this, I get $67.50. So the cost of 15 tickets is $67.50. Next one I have is the number of trees saved by recycling paper is shown. So letter C says write an equation to find the total number of trees Y that can be saved for any number of tons of paper. So I've got a couple of points here. I'm going to go ahead and pick 2 points on my line. I'm going to pick 1,17 and 2,14. You don't have to pick those, but you're welcome to use them. Okay. So for letter C, I need to first find the slope. So I take my 2 points. So I have 34 minus 17 over 2 minus 1. (34 minus 17 is 17. 2 minus 1 is 1. So I have 17. So that's my slope. Okay, and then I'm going to plug that in using one of my points. I'm going to use 17 and 1. So y equals 17x plus b, and I'm going to plug in a point. So I'm going to plug in 17 equals 17 times 1 plus b, which gives me 17 equals 17 plus b. So 0 equals b. So my equation is y equals 17x. Okay. So that's for letter C. Letter D says use the equation to find how many trees could be saved if 500 tons of paper are recycled. So for letter D, I'm going to take my equation, y equals 17x. And they said 500 tons of paper. I go back to my original problem, tons of paper was x. So that's what I'm plugging it in for, 17 times 500. Okay. When I multiply that, I get 8,500 trees, and y represented trees. Okay. All right, then on page 79, we're continuing with representing relationships. Okay, so I can have multiple representations of linear equations. We've kind of already talked about this. So the distance traveled is equal to 12 miles per second times the number of seconds. Okay, so my equation is going to be D equals 12s. Here's my table that I can draw. And here's my graph with the points. All four of these are a way to represent the exact same linear equation. Okay, so there are a couple more try it problems on this page. I want you to go ahead, pause the video, try them out, and then we will go over the answers together. All right, so now that you've tried the try it problem on your own, let's go over the answers together. So it says financial literacy. Paul earns $25 for grooming a dog plus $18.50 per day for boarding the same dog. I want to write an equation to find the amount of money Paul earned, M, for grooming a dog once and boarding it for any number of days, D. Okay. Come over here. So this is for letter E. Okay. So he gets $25 for grooming. $18.50 per day to board. Okay, so when it says Paul earned M for grooming a dog once and boarding it for any number of days. So M is the money he earned. He boarded the dog, so that's my constant rate of change for any days, D, plus the $25 grooming. Okay, so that's my equation. So that's for letter E. M equals 18.50D plus 25. Okay. Letter F says make a table to find the earnings for 5, 6, 7, or 8 days, then graph the ordered pairs. So D, my equation, and then M for the money he earned. Okay, the numbers they gave me for D were going to be 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I just take out my calculator, I can plug them in. 18.5 times 5 plus 25. So 18.5 times 5 plus 25 is 117.5. 18.5 times 6 plus 25 is 136. 18.5 times 7 plus 25 gives me 154.5. And 18.5 times 8 plus 25 gives me 173. Okay. So then I can go ahead and graph this. So D are my days. Okay. And then this other one over here is going to be total earnings. So that's the total money he earned. All right, on day 5, he earned $117.50. So here's 5. It's about there. On day 6, he would earn $136. It's about there. Day 7, $154.50. It's about there. And on day 8, $173. About there. Oops. 54 is about there. That's the wrong one. Don't use that one. Okay. So you can see they look to be about a straight line, about a linear relationship. Okay. And that is the end of lesson 1.